with Continental, I went downtown Houston from the airport. I went to a bunch of different jobs. I went into pilot scheduling for about 6 months. That was back in about 93 and 4. And I'm like, okay, this is the place I want to be, because they were still keeping track of pilot hours on 3x5 index cards. And this was before caller ID. So if you called somebody, they didn't know who was calling. So yeah, a lot of times they answered the phone. And of course, when you announced that you were, marked from scheduling, they were like, oh God, what's going on? But that was kind of before, the computer programs they have now. So now, you could kind of work a deal with the pilot, I'll take you off your trip 2 days from now. And if you do today and whatever else, you can't really do that anymore, because the pilots can literally watch what's happening as the schedules build through like a reserve day. A guy might say, well, hey, this guy's has been flown since before I last flew, so he should get the trip. So that complicated that. But then I got a dispatch license. Since I had a commercial license, I went to a guy named Alan Rossmore in Miami, and he was a dispatch instructor, and he ran it out of his home in Miami, and he was a director for Eastern Airlines for like 30 years. He was a dispatch with Eastern, then became an operations director. And when I got hired by Continental quickly after that, it was a pretty easy job. I mean, you didn't have as much information as you get nowadays. Now you just get paralyzed with information. I mean, the technology is great on one end, but then it just, it actually complicates your job on the other. And the rules and the regulations have gotten so much more intense. When I first started, our dispatch manual was like, I don't know, 30 pages long. And now it's volumes and volumes of stuff. And when we merged with United, they just overcomplicate everything. They make everything as hard as it can possibly be, I think, so they can have more management to watch over, the workers. Regulations is crazy. You came up, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and, twin engine airplanes weren't flying across open oceans. You got 180-minute ETOPS now. I think you got 207, I think, across the Pacific. Yeah. I mean, who the hell wants to fly for that long on one engine on a 777? But for the most part, it works. It works. The technology has come so far, it works. Technology is good and bad. Like Emily was saying, that guy that hit the bread truck in Newark the other day. Yeah. I talked to a buddy of mine, and the captain was pretty new to the airplane. And I'm sure he was probably young, because they've hired so many pilots in the past 5 years. And I guess the two first officers were, pretty new to the airline. Gosh. So you have this airplane that should keep you from doing that, and he still did it. So, I mean, technology is great, but you got to have experience you get on an airplane now, and you stick your head in the cockpit. And I like to see an older guy with gray hair in the left seat. Now you might have two guys that look like they're playing Little League somewhere.